I mean, I'm sure you can speed them up to a certain extent, but you know, you're not going to want them running so they're going to drill into the ground.
Well, it's like sometimes we have 2-3 tanks offline because they were broken, so we're only running 3 or 4 tanks at a time. So I mean, that's, you could not put the load between 7 tanks. You can put the load between 3 or 4 tanks, and there's even more strain on the system.
It'd be nice if we could have like a wet weather motor, you know?
I'll put that in for a suggestion on the next tank. No, I understand what you mean. And like I said, I have to ask someone back in the office what would actually be able to, how much that would push, if it, you know, if it rolls over that. I mean, I'm sure there is a design for 8-inch flight for that to run like that. Basically, that's to move it. I can see it pushing through there, but if it's built like sludge, that's probably going to shoot the pin at a certain point. There again, I don't know exactly how much pressure it's going to take to break that pin. But running that slow, I don't think it would snap it. You know, I'll put a sludge, but you have 2.5 feet sludge in there. Yeah, I would have to imagine that could be a problem.
Well, it's going to ride over the rest of only 8 inches of sludge. It's going to collect the density of the sludge down close to the bottom. You know, especially if you get a lot of grit coming in.
It's gonna be a lot of work.
Well, I'll ask. You know, I can call back there this afternoon and see what they say. Call them to get back to me, and you know, I'll hopefully give you an answer for that. And I'm sure this isn't the first place that would happen at. So I just don't know exactly the weight that would push. Here, look at this one. That should pop out. There's our shear pin. This pin will pop out. Hit that switch. Shut it off. That way your motor does not burn up. Looks like here is the switch to turn that on. This is the screw conveyor. That will power the screw conveyor. The oil reservoir we talked about. That will oil the gearbox. The underwater gearbox is down there. Underneath here, filming there, we have a shear pin that's in there. Again, that screw conveyor would get bound up somewhere. You know, break the shear pin.
Are you gonna break one?
Yeah, we can. We'll break it on this one. We'll break it on because I brought extras up for the chain here. We don't have a lot of extras for the conveyor. This is your motor for your drive chain for the bull sprocket down here, which runs the system. Shear pin in here. We have the limit switch here, so that disengage switch. Shear pin's right in here. We can change that. That would pop this switch out. You have to get in there and just drive that shear pin in. Here's the shear pin. Break. This would pop out. This little mechanism here. This would come around. Say something's bound up in there. This would pop, disengage the wheels in here. One of them. This will come around, hit this switch, shut the motor off, so that this wheel can still spin. However, it won't run the motor up. Look down in here. Here is the take-up, slack take-up. What they did there, put a piece on the back there so that does not slide out. And now you have, instead of the 8 inches of play we talked about, you have 3.5 inches to take the slack up in the chain. There we go. That is the shear pin. That's what pass that around. The ones for that. Here again, when there's order in there, lubricate this stuff. Be a little more And you'll see the shear pin that's in there. That's what's keeping the two collars there together. There's, you see that flat part in there, the white disc that pops out. What happens is if that shear pin breaks, those two collars will spin. As it comes around here, that flat part will come around, the round part will come through and push that white pin back out. And if you look on the right of the motor here, where Matt's hand is there, the trigger is right there. That white pin will come out, hit that trigger as it comes around, and stop the motor. If something would become wedged down in that screw conveyor, it would come around like that and shut that down. On this, some of these motors, I'm not fully sure if it's lifetime oil in them or not. That's something we need to check on. I do see there's gauges in there. I mean, obviously, if a gauge would be low in oil, there's no oil in it, with any motor, that's a problem. We'd have to put
The actual motors have synthetic oil in them.
this right here, that's the UHMW return rail. You can see the different shoes here. The shoe with the lug on the bottom, I said the one had a lug so it would not come off. That keeps it up on there for guidance. The other one, the flat one, is for the strips at the bottom. And the clips are blue. Pin will go in there. You can actually take one of them. And that's that one I really want to take it out of the system. But to take a pin out, what you want to do is take a flathead screwdriver. You can pop that clip off. Take your come-along strap, pull it together so that the tension's off of it. Pop that pin off. Straight screwdriver will pop that out. Turn your pin, pull it out, pull the strap together, do that. Now you can see that from the flights here, what you want to do from this side to that side has to be evenly taken out. If you take one out of here, you need to take one out of there. The same.
Take it out there,
Yep.
in between the same point.
Same point. What else can I see from up there? Well, you see your screw conveyor there. There's your head shaft. The bracket down there, you can tighten that one up. There's one down here, same thing. You see the stainless steel brackets on there? That can be used to tighten the chain up down there. But now that stuff should already be set before water is even started getting put into the tank. That should be set when the final inspection is done. They'll check the slack, and then it'll be signed off that those are ready to run. Over time, a year or two down the road here, that's something you still need to check on the slack and the chain. But that's something when you drain a basin every year or however often you do it, that's something you just look at to give it a once over. Scum pipes down there, your actuators. Pipe. Basically what that does is you're going to get a film of scum on top of this stuff. As these lights carry it down through there. That scum pipe turns like this. It allows it to come in, takes it up, drains out. I don't believe my tool will have the reverse motion in there. There should be time there, but you can't. I'm not quite sure how it's going to be set up. But it has you can actually go back and forth each way to let the scum come in either side of it. And as it centers, and out, take the outside guide cylinders there, slide them off. All the oval patterns in the wear strips are all running that direction. That way it pulls across and it's not pushing it. It's allowing them to have slack in them. These are the flight sensors, safety switches there.
For the alignment?
Yeah, they're not quite working yet. You can see basically how they would work. This will be back like that. As that flight comes forward, it'll hit that, breaking the sensor in here. There's a sensor in this meter here. That comes back and trips that, and it's designed to come back down. It has to be needs some final adjustment on that.
That'll come back down automatically after a flight goes by it?
As the flight comes through here and hits that, it'll trip that, and it's designed to come back down. Now, the weight's either not right or we don't have enough washers in there. This was an add-on that still getting in operation. They'll expand and contract with the temperature. So if you see a couple of them getting wavy in them, as long as it's not throwing your flights off, it's not an issue. Temperature of water causes them to move around a little bit. They are loose on there, allowing these to move. So some might look like they're appearing to be not lined up. As long as it's not affecting your flight movement, that's the way it's supposed to be in there. It's just allowing for a tad bit of movement. There was space B, space A. And again, same procedures over there. Turn on, switch on. Got all the same components, one in here. This one does drives with full sprocket. Yes, that's your zero speed sensor. We're talking about oiling that when it's full. I would have to say, yeah. I wouldn't know any way to get grease down there. If you put a grease fitting on that not hit that flight, and as long as it's not grease fitting on there, going up here, just keep your watch. You need to have that clearance around that flight. If you put one on and angle it back along with that conduit, if you could run some type of grease fitting cable or whatever, I'm not quite sure if they have something like that. I'm sure they do. Keep it clear of those flights. And run it up and you can grease that. Right. If you want to run it down with that conduit, I wouldn't see that being a problem. The only issue I would have with that would be clearance. As long as you have clearance there, it's just something making it easier for you guys to grease that fitting.